Temba was very angry and throwing knives at Zoto's photo and missing the target. All of a sudden, Zoto called and asked, "What are you doing, my love?" And Temba replied, "I'm missing you." Good evening and welcome to Opportunity Tuesday on Talk with Rams Live. We are on Facebook and Instagram, and you can also find us on YouTube as Talk with Rams on all the platforms. Thank you for choosing us. This remains the most powerful 30 minutes of digital content you can find. Let me remind you of two important things. If you have not done so, please complete our viewers survey. We just would like to know you better so that we can make our content continuously relevant to you. The details of the survey are on the timeline on the Facebook page. It will take you no more than 2 minutes, even if your name was Temba. Secondly, remember to register for our webinar titled The Journey to Self-Discovery, scheduled for 24 October, which is 2 Saturdays from now. This will be conducted by our resident personal development coach and your favorite Dr. Tando Sibanda. Let me remind you, Dr. T charges 2,500 Rand for normal webinars, minimum. So for 350 Rand, it is a steal. Register now because we only have limited space and I can never convince Dr. T to go any cheaper and go any longer for that kind of money. Now then, let us get to the business of the day. The African Management Institute, AMI, presents a scholarship aimed at SMEs called Survive to Thrive. This is an opportunity for you to get skills and tools and strategies you need to survive this current period. Now, tonight, we speak to Lebo Pasha, General Manager of AMI Southern Africa, to tell us more about this opportunity. And then, only after then, we go to the quickie and we speak to Pimelo Kibinela, a beneficiary of this scholarship, to tell us about his business and how the scholarship has helped him. So, it's contrary to our norm. Today, we start with the opportunity interview, then we follow up with the quickie. But it's because you have to understand what this is about first before you hear Pimelo's story. His story becomes better and in context once you've listened to Lebo. I hope you understand it that way. Please stay with us until the end. Do not ever miss that chat with Pimelo later. So he's no stranger to this show. We've seen him before, and if I have my way, we'll see him a million times ahead. Good evening, Lebo.
Good evening, Rams. Good evening to all the viewers out there.
I was panicking that I've just lost you now after chatting to you for 30 minutes before we went on air. So please remind us again, who is AMI and what do you guys do?
So in short, AMI is a Pan-African EdTech business that does learning and development for entrepreneurs, managers, and leaders in businesses. And our goal is to help ambitious businesses across the African continent to thrive. How we do this is through training, through providing them with tools, through providing them with the communities and networks that will help their businesses not only survive, but like our program, also help them thrive, even during the COVID pandemic.
Now, why though? I mean, why did you guys come into existence? What was the motivation? Were things that bad that you needed to?
So I also forgot to thank you for the invite. Thank you for inviting us again. But
anytime, my brother, anytime.
I think, in short, I think we saw a big need. There was a big gap, both in the workplace, because we started out in workplace learning with strong relationships to business schools across the African continent, Lagos Business School, Gibbs, and Strathmore in Kenya. We had very strong relationships with them, and we saw a big gap in South African business where the African continent was struggling to develop the caliber of managers that are needed to grow the continent and get us competitive globally and put us where we belong globally. And through that, it came about that we realized that, again, the big engine room for commerce across the globe are SMEs. And through our work with managers, we realized as well, we need to work with SMEs. We can't leave them behind. And over the past couple of years, entrepreneurs and SMEs have become the center of what we do. Throughout the COVID pandemic in March, we saw a huge storm coming, and we reshaped our business. We pivoted quite early, reshaped our business to try and find a way to support SMEs, because we realized that if the end of 2020 comes and we've lost most of our SMEs, we are not just losing businesses, we are losing livelihoods on the continent. And we needed to find a solution. Our solution initially was doing boot camps. We were doing short, high impact programs to help SMEs survive the pandemic, to think about how to deal with risk and changing scenarios, the different levels of lockdown. This is across the continent now, including in South Africa. And after that, we realized that we also need to change the way we deliver our programs. We shifted to virtual learning. And from virtual learning, we realized that, well, maybe we need longer programs because we've dealt with some of the urgency, but now people are wondering, what next? How do we move forward from here? And
so I then suspect that's how Survive to Thrive was born.
Exactly. So Survive to Thrive was our sort of response to trying to accelerate, trying to scale your business, even through a pandemic like we're having now. The great thing about the program, like you said in the intro, it provides the tools, the strategies, also the networks and communities, because it's a Pan-African program. So you could be in your class with 10 or 13 or whatever, different number of people from across the African continent. So you're learning, you're sharing ideas with other leaders in SMEs from across the African continent. So that's the one great thing about it. But the best thing about the program, it starts from that situation of uncertainty, of volatility that we are currently in, and it helps you build your business from there. It looks at different phases of the development of your business, from dealing with that uncertainty to dealing with the things you can control, things like your costs, your team, your resources around you, and then reshaping your business and looking at how do you innovate in a time of crisis, because a lot of business owners have shifted their mindset from testing their markets, building new products, new services. And after you've done that initially in the life of your business, you shift mentally to let's chase the next order. And you shift to managing your order book, you shift to managing your team and your people around you. So a lot of SME owners tend to sort of lose that skill or forget some of the skill sets around rapid product and service development, around how to innovate. How do I understand what my customers' changing needs are? Because yes, I know what their needs are in December 2019, but the needs of December 2019 and the needs of December 2020 are vastly different. And again, depending on which sector you're on, in some cases, they've shifted totally. And I think we'll probably see a bit of that with Pemelo's story as well, being in an industry that faces the entertainment space, a space that's been highly impacted by social distancing, where people are now discouraged from interacting, from being together. And that's definitely impacted a lot of businesses. Yeah.
I don't like asking controversial questions. I've made it my business on this platform, not never, but try not to be controversial. We've made it a fun space. But sometimes I remember who I am. I'm just this journalist who's trained to ask controversial questions from time to time. Could an entrepreneur really be saved from any eventuality by external forces other than by themselves reinventing themselves, re-looking at their product and services, re-looking at their markets, re-evaluating their systems and processes and doing things differently?
Yeah, it's a very tough question. I think to start off with, there are no 100% guarantees in business. I think research going back decades shows us that the SME space is the most highly impacted space, especially when we have depressions, recessions, and any sort of negative macroeconomic downturns. SMEs are the worst impacted businesses. And even worse, micro businesses, which are survivalist businesses. Think about the lady who sells amagwinya at the taxi rank. That lady's business got impacted probably more than the high-rise skyscraper if she was in Santon behind her, because she was not even, she probably didn't know the process to get a permit. So first answer is we cannot have tools and guarantee survival for all businesses. But then what we can do though is a significant way towards getting entrepreneurs ready to be in that space you're talking about, where they know what tools are required. Because I believe most entrepreneurs are very proficient technically at what they do, whether it is that recipe of yours, Yamakunya, that's, you know, the killer recipe that keeps your customers coming back, or in any other field that you're in. Usually most entrepreneurs are very great technically at their business. They have fairly good knowledge of their customer and what makes the business work. But the biggest challenge they have is, where do you source advice and toolkits to help you when things do not go as you'd expect them to go? And unfortunately with SMEs, they don't have the advantage of a big boardroom. They can't afford to have a board with 12 board members, advisors, and paying for expensive consultants to come in all the time when they have challenges. And what we do is we provide them with that briefcase, with that toolbox, because in most cases they have a good idea of what's wrong and what needs to be fixed. Yep. What we give them is the prompting questions. We ask you, do you know what your customer needs? And we then provide them with a journey to get the tools to sort out the problem themselves, rather than waiting for someone to help them solve some of these problems.
Let me blow your ego the right way. One of our top followers on Facebook, Busiswa Luchaba, says, I just followed Lebo on LinkedIn. I can only suspect, Lebo, is because the way you explain things made Busiswa to want to follow you. I'm hoping for no other reason than that, but let's continue. I want you to help me here because I speak to a lot of SMEs for my sins. I get people asking me questions, they inbox me. Every single day I get lots of people wanting some advice. And I then get a lot of people saying, I need money. And I know money is a great thing. But you know, I always say to them, you'll be shocked how most of what you need is non-financial support to get your business to the next level. But I don't think they believe me. So I want you, Lebo, to help me to communicate to them the importance of entrepreneurs to look for non-financial support outside their business.
Yeah. So I think you've hit the nail on the head. I totally agree with you. And thank you, Busiswa. I will follow you back, and I encourage everyone else to also follow both myself and Rams. But to answer your question, Rams, and talk with Rams, yes. To answer the question, we all know when we need money, where we need to go. That we know. But for some reason, what I've also realized in dealing with SMEs, SME owners, like in your case, they will share their problems with you, but they don't know where to go. And the sad thing is that they tend to give up quicker on the other problems they have in their businesses rather than money. When they need money, they will go and do a business plan. They will do what needs to be done. They will go to 3-4 banks. They will go to all sorts of institutions to try and get the money, but they give up on looking for non-financial support. And what we've found in a lot of cases, it's not that the solutions are not there. People need to know, where do I start? So in a lot of cases, businesses do get the money, and we've seen this. I won't quote very specific examples. We've got DFIs that finance small institutions. What we've seen from my experience working with SMEs is that they do get the funding, but a lot of these businesses fail not because of not having money. They get the funding, but they do not know how to use the funding well. And you find these businesses going under. We know a lot of these businesses. We know the stories, whether they're being financed through traditional means, which is the banks, through the DFIs and the governmental DFIs, whether they're getting grants as well in the ESD system or part of BE or socioeconomic development. We see a lot of this money going to businesses, but we don't see the outcomes. and billions have gone into small businesses, but we still don't see a booming SME sector. So the biggest challenge that we've seen, again, through research, when you look at research on venture capital, people are pouring money into businesses. A lot of the research says the biggest strong point and weak point of a business is the team, it's the owners. And what stands behind those owners is both their experience, but also their toolkits. What toolkits do you have? And sadly, we come from a traditional sort of thinking space in South Africa where we believe that a great engineer who builds a great product or great service will build a great business. And we ignore the fact that sometimes technical skills are not enough. So where you've got a deficiency, we're not saying you should be kicked out as the engineer. We're saying that let's bring the engineer, let's give him a toolkit. He probably has a good understanding of what the problem is or what the problem could be. If they don't understand that, then let's provide them with toolkits so that they can identify what the problem is, so that they can move quickly towards solving that specific problem.
Okay. I'm hoping they heard you, because I try to say the same things, but let's not make it about me and them. I'm sure they heard you. It's tough times, Lebo. You know, the last 6 months have been rough. It has been blood on the wall. A lot of businesses had to fold. Those that are still in the game, even if they are holding through, you know, the skin of their teeth, how can they navigate through these times? How do they survive, you know, at least the next 2 months to the end of this year and reboot and hopefully stay on and come back rejuvenated in 2021?
So my advice to those businesses would look back again to things we've covered previously with your Rams. I think one of the most critical things at this time of the year is almost over. We're already starting to plan for 2021. I'd say definitely you need to look at scenario planning. Don't just do a budget and hope for the best. Think about the different scenarios looking forward into 2021. What do you expect will definitely happen? What will things look like for your business in 2021? And then think about the worst case. What could happen that could disrupt that? And then also think about the best case, because things could go better than that. And what I'd advise people is already start right now thinking about that plan, do that scenario planning, and then also go and do your cash flow planning backed by that. And then lastly, look at risks. We've also looked at risks in the past on your show, Rams. People need to consider some form of risk matrix. Look for a tool that helps you analyze the risks in your business and already think about how you're going to solve these problems. Don't lose sleep at night because you did not think about the basic risks that your business could face. So that's the best advice I could give anybody in Q4 of 2020, looking at surviving the next 3 months and starting 2021 with a bang.
Okay, so now let's talk about the application process. You know, when we tell people there's an opportunity, they will listen to you and I talk about stuff and advice and whatever, but it's like, hey, Batum, we want to get to that point. How do we get in? So what is the application criteria and process for Survive to Thrive?
So to participate in Survive to Thrive, you need to apply. You really, really need to apply. Go to our webpage, africanmanagers.org, africanmanagers with the S.org, and you will then see the link to Survive to Thrive. You can look at our social media pages on our Facebook, on our Instagram. We also have links there that speak about Survive to Thrive. You have up until the 16th of October, the end of this week, to apply for the program. So you go on there, you apply, and then there's a multi-tiered sort of application process. We're looking for a specific size of business because some of the things we teach are not just developing you, the business owner, but we're going to help you develop the team around you. Because again, for you to succeed, it's not just about you learning things, but it's also making sure you've got a strong team behind you. So it's a 6-month program. It is quite intensive, but it's not going to be so intensive that you're going to lose focus on your business. Great thing about it is you will start applying everything you're learning. I guarantee, as you learn things, you will be applying them to your business immediately. You will get value from it. But it all starts with the application. You need to apply. Yeah.
Very important. There's no cost to it.
Zero cost. So we're offering these scholarships. We've been quite lucky where we've been approached by partners, people we've worked with before, who've seen the impact of our programs, and who've come forward and said, we'd like to support businesses across the African continent. Right now, I'm speaking mostly to South African businesses. I'd like to see more South African businesses take up the offer. It's 100% free. It's a scholarship that's covering the full cost of the program for you. We usually sell the program, but in this case, it's been covered as a scholarship for you that you need to qualify for. So please do apply.
I know Pimelo is going to tell us a bit, but how do I come out on the other side? Once I've gone through the 6 months program and you've grilled me and my team, I don't know if you'll ever manage with Fred. He's a bit slow, but you know, how do we come out on the other side? How do we get better after this program?
So I think the beauty of this program, Rams, is that it's like a suit. It's a tailored suit. We are bringing the fabric, you're bringing yourself. So how you come out on the other side is a collaborative work between the two of us and your team, because they need to tell you whether the suit is too tight or not, and tell you whether you look good or not, and be honest about it. But also you come out on the other side, and this is I think the big differentiator for the program that we run. You come out on the other side with the tools that are most important to you. So we are not going to dictate to you that you have to work on your marketing. We're not going to dictate those sort of things to you. You already go into the program knowing where your headaches, where your pain points are. And what we do is we help you prioritize and make sure that you sort out those things. So the one thing I'll guarantee, you'll sleep better when you come out on the other side, because we're definitely going to deal with the pain points in your particular business. So you'll definitely sleep better. Whether you're in the suits or not, that's up to you, but you will sleep better.
Okay, I'm going to offer another incentive. So if you apply for this scholarship, you get chosen for it and you go through the program. The first thing when you come out on the other side, you will get full interview on Talk with Rams Live. So go to www.africanmanagers.org, apply for Survive to Thrive scholarship. I hope you make it. I hope you got what it takes to go through it, and you got the guts to stand it for 6 months, you and your team, and then we'll come and talk to you about how it made you a better person and what you're looking forward to after that. It's a deal. You got 3 days. If you don't do it within 3 days, you're going to miss it. Lebo Pasha, always wonderful having you here, my brother. It's been wonderful chatting to you.
Thank you very much for the opportunity, and thank you to all our viewers out there.
Great, and I'm going to bid everybody goodbye, but I'm going to leave you with this interview with Pimelo Kibinelang, an SME owner who is also a beneficiary of the African Management Institute Survive to Thrive Scholarship. This will help you understand and make sense of my chat with Lebo. Because if you understand what we spoke about, you'll even hear it better from a beneficiary. The interview I had with Pimelo was done earlier in the day. It's pre-recorded, but do not leave when I say goodbye. Tomorrow is Wisdom Wednesday, and we bring you a new guest onto the show who's going to give you some tips of how to be a leader for the future. Not today's leader, not tomorrow's leader, but the future's leader. And you got to do it now. So don't miss Wisdom Wednesday tomorrow. It's going to be lit, even if I say so myself. So from me, Rams Mabote, good night and God bless, but do not switch off.
Many of us, and perhaps most of us, have dreams to reach the top. But the first summit to climb in any journey is knowing yourself, your strengths, your weaknesses, your triggers, and your blind spots. Before you can conquer any voyage, you need to first prepare the voyager. So why don't you join the Talk with Rams Live webinar on the journey to self-discovery with our resident personal coach, Dr. Tando Sibanda. For only 350 Rand, you can buy your ticket to getting ready to achieve your success. Be part of this interactive 2 hours where Dr. T will be able to give you tools fit for your journey. Register on admin@talkwithrams.com or else uzoithola kanjani.
Right. So the concept of a boundary is not so much as keeping stuff out as much as clarifying what's in. Boundaries help you clarify your freedom. You can be yourself. You can be the best you can be because you understand the threshold of your influence.
Okay, thanks. Good day. My name is Pimelo Kivinelang. I'm the owner of Vonage Enterprises. We are based in Soweto. The business started in 2018 as a business in the event space, whereby we provide and hire out equipment for events, your mobile toilet, your portable toilet, your food warmer, hand washers, your fridges, and likewise. So our business started in 2018. So what happened is that me and my wife, we partnered with my former colleague who was already in the space of the events. He's based in his name, the company name is Vonage. It's Cartel. So we partnered with Mr. Tabiso Daung, whereby he became our mentor. So for the first year in 2008, we're not necessarily operational. What we're doing, Mr. Daung was taking us through this business in terms of the events and so forth. Although we had the equipment then, so we stayed for a while without operating, trying to learn the industry and other basics. So it's been a journey since 2018. Then last year, that's when we started. 2019, that's when we started being operational, working with individuals. In the main, again, we work our main clients, undertakers in around Soweto. Okay, what we did before we even approached them, we had to develop, through interacting with various people within Soweto, to check which funeral takers are most popular, funeral takers that are most preferred by people in Soweto, or used the main players in the funeral undertaking in Soweto. So we developed just a sample of those funeral takers. I think initially we had 6 of them. So from that 6, we're able to approach, actually to secure meetings with 4. So from the 4, we got a partnership in terms of working together with 2 from the 4. So that's how we started, in terms of having a sample, checking which funeral takers are the main players in Soweto. So we are currently working with one on a weekly basis. The other one is as and when there are opportunities from their side, they will call us. There's one funeral taker that we work on a weekly basis. I think that, of course, the biggest challenge is, of course, when you start any business, it's by being operational. I think we spend more time. It's a tricky thing to start operationalizing a business, because we have a plan, we have theory, we have compiled a lot of information regarding your industry or your business. And when it comes to the actual implementation, it becomes a challenge because we don't know where to start. So when we started with the mentorship, at least to some extent, the mentorship that we received from Mr. Ntau assisted us. It was not easy to really penetrate and work in this industry. So it was the starting and operationalizing the business itself. So in terms of the COVID, the lockdown, I think for us to some extent, because we're working closely with funeral undertakers, we're not affected that much negatively. Actually, that's when for us the business was booming in the COVID, because there'll be more funerals, meaning we are working overtime. There were instances that we were working from Monday to Monday, back to back. So we're not affected. I think the challenge, of course, was that making sure that the staff are aware, they are educated, they are safe. Because it was not about chasing the bottom line, but also ensuring that your staff is safe, but also to some extent, because making sure that the people that we're interacting with during the funerals, we try to assist them to be aware if we see that people are becoming casual or they are not adhering. So we'll assist from from those during those funerals in terms of ensuring both the staff and the client, the end user, the client, where there is funeral, they are also adhering to the regulations. But generally, we did not suffer much. Honestly, the survive to thrive here about it, because I used to attend the MI Zoom. They had some monthly Zoom webinars in terms of entrepreneurship. So I used to attend those. So it was during that time that I learned a lot in terms of what they do, what is it all about. And it was during that period where they also advertised this opportunity of the Thrive program. And we managed to apply and grab this opportunity with both hands. It has helped me a lot, because the business, we run this business, the family. It's myself, my wife, and my eldest son. So we are running with this as a family. So from time to time, it's not easy to run a business as a family. You find that from time to time there's a lot of debate. There's a lot of everyone wants to make his or her input. So it has assisted us in terms of working as a team, but also it has assisted us in terms of managing our cash flow. Although we might not say that we're perfect at that, but it assisted us. We are able to plan in advance. Previously, last year, sometimes we could not pay our staff on time, but now we're able to make sure that everything, when money comes in, we don't spend it on other things. Although whenever we're spending it for business. That's what we ensure that we spend for business. But now what we're able to do is to ensure that there's some money that is left for other things, to ensure that the operations, they don't get distracted. So it has assisted us in that cash flow, assisted us in working as a team. It has also assisted us to some extent, to make sure that we focus on advertising as well. Okay, thanks. My advice is that the platform is huge, and it's a very. I also love the atmosphere. A lot of things that are happening in that space, especially the tools. They have lots of tools that are assisting us as SMMEs. So as business, as entrepreneurs, make use of that space. Ensure that you focus the tasks that are given, implement those tasks. It might not be easy initially, but also during the Zoom meetings, participate, interact. Don't just be comfortable with people that with your team. Interact with people from other African countries. It's a good thing because of you meet people from Nigeria, Uganda, from Rwanda, from all these other African countries, and you see that there's a lot of things that happen in the business world. And then in terms of where you can find us, we are based in Soweto, Orlando West. So for now, unfortunately, we have not developed the website. The website that we had, it was never completed. So you can contact us through the contact. It's 081-783-4840. So that's our contact. But also our email address, pimelokibinelang2@gmail.com. That's where you can contact us. Thanks, Frederick.